Hey everyone, this is Brano, and I want to talk about early access because as a gamer, I don't buy early access games, but as a game developer, I sort of see early access as a really nice potential tool to get a lot of feedback and test if anyone gives any crap about your game idea. I'm thinking about making an RTS game. And this is sort of one of those games where I'm going to have to put a lot of effort into it. And if no one cares about the early access release, it's dead. And I know that if no one cares about my game, no one cares if I walk away from it. But the problem with making this RTS game is that it could take me a number of years to complete. And I think I like to work to schedules. I like to work to sprint plans, and I like to work in a structured way. And I think that if I make this game for 1.5 years, get that into early access, and it has enough attention to it and enough quality behind the project to keep hardcore fans of this game happy, I think that would be overall beneficial, especially since a game like an RTS is so difficult to make and there's so many different moving parts. And despite me improving as a developer, I do think that being able to get early mass feedback would be beneficial. Now, I play tested the hell out of Heal to Death. Not just myself, but I got huge amounts of people to play test my game. And one of the problems that you tend to find is that it's really easy to get people to test the tutorial of the game, but it's really difficult to get people to test the early versions, like the later content of that game. And you can't really release it for free at a demo, so I'm thinking there is a value add in me as a developer being able to make an early access game. And the question I have to contest though is as a gamer, I do not buy early access games, but as a developer, I want to do an early access game for my next game. So how do I reconcile this? Because I've always had an approach of I want to make a game that I would personally play. Once I'm at the standard that I would personally play it, then I'm happy. But I would just straight up completely reject it because it's early access and I want other people to fix it. So I think for me, the way I see how early access should be approached is kind of two things. Number one, it needs to be basically a light 1.0 launch. You don't call it 1.0, but you have to treat it as if it was a 1.0 launch. It needs to be a polished vertical slice with a specific view of quality, not quantity. It needs to clearly say, hey, we're missing a lot of content that will be made later down the line, but what's here at the moment is actually pretty high quality stuff, so you should enjoy it. I think that's a really good approach towards how you would release an early access project, because there's a lot of people who treat it as a beta, and I don't think that's acceptable. Your game should be most gamers should not experience a crash when they play your game in early access. I don't care that you call it early access. It's not acceptable. You should be playtesting and getting as much feedback during the demo phases as possible before you launch it. It's just look, it's missing some content and there's a lot of improvements that could be done as you get a large amount of feedback and improving the game overall. The other thing I think that you need for an early access release is an infinite gameplay mode. You want people to have a reason to continually come back to your game. And sure, if you've got more finite content that you drip feed over a number of patches, I think that's perfectly fine as well. But you want people to come back, you want people to continue to play, and I don't think that like finite games would work well at all as early access. I just don't get it. You know, you got the Chris Kozlowski guy, and he says like, look, by default early access is bad, but there are exceptions, and here are the exceptions, and here's what you can learn from it. And I'm sort of taking what he's saying and trying to work out with how I feel about it. So what feels right in terms of me making my games. And I think the big thing is like, if I release a game in early access at a quality level that I would personally be happy with, and nobody cares about the game, then I have permission to walk away from it. Like, I really don't like how much early access has been abused, especially when you got popular games. But if you have a popular early access game and no one cares, well, if you have a popular early access, well, any early access game, you should have the intention to complete it. But in terms of like unpopular early access games, if no one cares, then maybe no one's going to care if you walk away from it. And at some point, an RTS is a big commitment, because I don't think I'm going to get this game done in 2 years. I think I'm going to be able to reach a perfectly fun and enjoyable early access release in 2 years, but not the but certainly not the full release of a game that I would be happy with. And I need to prove to myself after that 1.5 years that this is worth spending another 1.5 years on this game, where if I get money, I can reinvest it into the game and truly make it into a really enjoyable RTS. Because, you know, it's kind of one of those things where first impressions matter a lot to gamers, so I'm going to make the game as good as possible. But first impressions matter as well to the developer. I need to know that people are going to enjoy the game. If I can't see that people have any interest in the game, like with Healed to Death, like I have sold more games than wish lists I had at the beginning. So I got a lot of new wish lists for the games, but I was getting almost no attention until I was close to release with Healed to Death. So I need to get early insight into seeing, would anyone actually care about the game that I am making? The main thing is that I would really be doing everything I could to not abuse early access. I trust my gamer intuition a lot. Like, my business intuition for Healed to Death was that I'm going to sell this for $20. My gamer intuition said 15. And I trusted my gamer intuition a lot more than my business intuition. Otherwise, I think in general, early access probably best to be avoided by default, but there are cases where I think it's good and I think I have a case. The main thing is, though, is that do not release a broken product as early access. It can be lacking in a couple of different areas and stuff, and maybe you can improve it, and maybe you can, I would just say, use early access to make up for the fact that you overlooked things during development. But if you get feedback on how to improve the game, I would really recommend that you just make the game the best possible thing, because early access kind of needs to be treated as your launch. And I think that with my mindset, I'm going to be able to treat early access as a reasonable launch, and I have a reasonably good chance of doing a version 2.0 release. But if no one cares about my game, then I have every right to say, no one cared. It's pointless for me to finish and continue to work on a game that I know that nobody cares about. But I don't want to abuse gamers. I really don't like how game devs treat early access. So I'll be doing what I can to probably make early access work, but I'm not 100% sold on early access, so we'll see how we go. Anyway, that's my thought on early access.